What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. This time we are going across the border to a little place known as the Piggy Palace. Robert Pickton was arrested on 6 accounts of second-degree murder, but later there would be an announcement increasing that number to a possible 49. While on the pig farm, you might have learned a thing or two from Looney Tunes and good old Porky Pig.
Nope.
Robert William Pickton, also known as Willie, was born on October 24th, 1949 in British Columbia. In his family, he had one brother and one sister. His sister was sent away from the family because the parents believed the pig farm was going to be an inappropriate place to raise a daughter. Out of the two parents, Willie's mother was more demanding on him and his brother than his father was. She would often send them to school with foul-smelling clothes and not being able to shower after an early morning on the pig farm. The kids in school gave him the name of Stinky Piggy, and Willie never even had a girlfriend because girls would shun him, more than likely because of how he would dress and smell every day. Even though Willie was close to his mother was the one possibly influencing him to become the person he was and still is, because he's still alive. There was one time Robert's brother Dave hit another person with his car. After this, he would rush home and tell his mother about what happened. When his mother got to the scene, she took the body of the kid and just threw him off the road into the small body of water next to it. This is just straight up fucked up. Like, what? Like, what? Early in his life, Willie would take his savings and buy a calf, which would later become his own pet. One day after school, he couldn't find out where his calf had went off to. He asked his mother, and his mother told him to go check the slaughterhouse. When Willie went into the slaughterhouse, he instantly became heartbroken to find out his calf was killed by his parents. At the age of 14, he dropped out of high school and gained a position as a butcher's apprentice. The Pickton's parents had died when Willie was around the age of 29. Thus, he began to run the pig farm by himself, since his other siblings did not want anything to do with it. Dave took over the family house while Willie had his own little trailer on the farm in order to look after it. The sister had moved away, and Dave and Willie sold most of the property for a whopping 5.1 million Canadian dollars. So they were just swimming with cash at this point. They could do whatever they wanted to. Since Willie was running the pig farm, he got to know the downtown east side area of Vancouver really well because he would go there often to get rid of his waste animal parts. While there, he would lure women back to his farm by using the promise of money and illegal substances. Most of the people he would bring back to the farm would become dependent on him for this money and substances. Willie and his brother would start a non-profit charity called the Piggy Palace Good Time Society. The Piggy Palace Good Time Society would host events, and in these events they would turn the pig farm into basically a nightclub for around 2,000 people. At these events is where Willie would start to get to know some of the people, and this is how he would start to figure out who he was gonna take. Because of the marginalized lifestyles and transient habits of the people who are in downtown Eastside, most of the women who would go missing went unnoticed. Most of the disappearances he was convicted of happened in the late 1990s, while the most disappearances in 1 year happened in 2001, which was 7 in 1 year. While these women were going missing, there was no evidence of any bodies popping up, which caused police to believe that there was nothing wrong, and that they were just leaving the area. They had no idea a deranged man was taking sex workers and feeding them to his piggies. That's right, he would feed the women after killing them to his pigs. The worst part about all this is he had absolutely zero remorse in what he did. Willie was charged with the murders of 6 women, but went to trial for 26 cases. They only convicted him with 6 because the judge had already given him the maximum sentence and was going to be in prison for life, so he decided to just stay the other 20 cases against him. He claimed to have killed 49 women and wanted to make it even 50, but said he got sloppy and that's what caused him to get caught. Well, if he got sloppy, he must have learned the sloppiness from all those years befriending those little piggies. Pickton was one of, if not the largest serial killer in Canadian history. This case was also not the first time a serial killer had used animals in the disposing of bodies. In 1920, a bootlegger by the name of Joe Ball used alligators in his assistance. Good old Willie was caught because of a former employee of the Picktons had informed the police of illegal weapons on the property in 2002. This would cause the police to get a search warrant for the pig farm. In addition to the illegal weapons the police found, there was also items connected to missing women on the property. He was then arrested and released on bail because there was no other evidence saying the women were there. While on bail, Willie was not allowed to return to the farm while the police conducted another, more in-depth search. In this search, they found an inhaler prescribed to a missing woman, along with blood DNA of another woman, so the police rearrested Robert on 2 counts of murder. While in his jail cell, the Vancouver police placed an undercover cop in there with him, and he would confess to killing 49 women and wanted to make it an even 50.
That's what I was slapping people for. Yeah. Make a big battle. Make the 5 cents. That's fuck. 5-0.
Meanwhile, forensic experts and archaeologists were searching his farm for any indication of the missing women. They had to sift through 383,000 cubic yards of soil and took over 200,000 DNA samples. The total cost of this investigation was estimated at $70 million and took almost 2 full years to search the entire farm. There were a few other times Pickton could have been arrested before this time, and any of these arrests would have saved countless lives. In 1997, a woman fought back when Pickton was trying to handcuff her. They both got cut in the fight and were treated at the same hospital. While being treated, a nurse had found a key in Willie's pocket, which, you guessed it, was the exact key to unlock the handcuffs on the girl in the room next to him. An arrest right there was made for attempted murder, but the charges did not go through. The witness was addicted to illegal substances, so her story would not hold up in court. When questioned about this incident, Pickton claimed she was a hitchhiker and he was just trying to defend himself. Early in 1999, another person who had worked for the Picktons on their farm had seen clothing, IDs, and purses, which they believed had been the property of some of the missing women. Since no crime was committed, nor was there any physical evidence discovered, the police could not get a warrant to go search the farm. Also in 1999, an informant told police a woman had saw a body hanging at the pig farm, but when questioned about it, she denied everything. After Pickton was arrested was when she came out and confessed to seeing a body, but she was relying on Willie for money for her addictions. Robert Pickton was convicted of 6 counts of second-degree murder for the killings of Serena Abotsway, Mona Lee Wilson, Andrea Josbury, Brenda Ann Wolfe, Marnie Lee Frey, and Georgina Faith Papin. The Vancouver police would go under major scrutiny for this case because they did not take action sooner. The police chiefs did try to apologize to all the victims' families. In 2010, there was an inquiry for this case, and they found many problems and mistakes from the Vancouver police, mainly because of the prejudice of sex workers and Indigenous people. And thus, we are finished with the story of the shitty person known as Robert Pickton. And they say Canada is filled with extremely nice people.